Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Gothalion, and welcome back to Borderlands, the pre-sequel. And I want to talk to you guys about something that I think needs to happen in the DLCs for this game. Now, as we know, Borderlands, the pre-sequel takes place in between Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2. And there is a very important storyline that will take place after the rise of Handsome Jack and before the happenings of Borderlands 2, and that is the fall of New Haven. Now, I feel like this is a very strong possible DLC storyline, but at the same time, I feel like it's obvious, and Gearbox might not take this route. Why? Because it might be a little bit too difficult to do, too difficult to really put out that product in a way that will make longtime Borderlands fans happy. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about some things that could be done to make this DLC possible. The first thing is jump jets down on Pandora, because of course the fall of New Haven would be us fighting the original 4 Vault Hunters, which would make sense after the events of Borderlands the pre-sequel. It would make sense. And if we got to fight the original 4 Vault Hunters as raid bosses, that would be freaking awesome. So, how would jump jets work? How would oxygen work on Pandora? Well, you wouldn't need oxygen. But I feel like oxygen in general was a bad system, and I'm going to go over in detail about that in another video, but I came up with one solution for jump jets in future Borderlands games, and that's to replace oxygen with fuel cells. It is that simple. The oxygen system inside of Borderlands the pre-sequel is tedious. It is unnecessary. You don't even get hurt all that much when you are out of oxygen. So why even bring that into play? Why even make that a factor? Why not just permanently give the player a bubble over their head, and instead of doing that, you just frickin' have fuel cells. Fuel cells for your jump jets. That makes more sense, and in my opinion, is a better mechanic than any sort of oxygen for jump jets, okay? So moving forward, if we would just, instead of having oxygen on Pandora, we have fuel cells, then that would make sense, that would work, that would make jump jets work down on Pandora. Problem solved. So moving forward beyond that, how do we handle the Athena situation? Because Athena evidently walked away from Handsome Jack after they defeated the Guardians inside the vault on Elpis. This is a little bit trickier, but they could approach it as a sort of what if she was there situation. Gearbox isn't too afraid of bending the rules of story and continuity. They've done it before, and I think it might work in this. Maybe she was swayed to come back and fight again for some reason. I think that this is a very strong tie-in story, and if they do too much in between Borderlands 1 and 2 in the pre-sequel and its DLC that has nothing to do with Borderlands 1 or 2, I think that's a major mistake, and they've already done such a good job so far with the story. Pre-sequel had an amazing story. In my opinion, you might not agree with me. Other things that might not make sense, cryo weapons. Gearbox said that freeze cryo weapons didn't exist on Pandora because it's just plumb too hot. Because it's got a normal atmosphere and it's just damn too hot. Well, how do you explain cryo weapons working near lava inside of, or on Elpis, or inside of artificial atmosphere where it's clearly temperature regulated? How do you explain cryo weapons working there? I think that Gearbox's and 2K's explanation of why cryo just plumb doesn't work outside of the moon, it's kind of bubkiss, and I think they should scrape that to the side, ignore it, and keep cryo moving forward, and that is how cryo would work on Pandora. Lasers! Why the fuck wouldn't lasers work on Pandora? That's my question. They were like, well, you know, it works on the moon because it's like lasers. No. It would work just fine on Pandora because, again, lasers actually function better inside of atmosphere. So there is no reason to not have laser weapons moving forward, but that does not excuse no laser weapons inside of Borderlands 2, but we don't talk about that. Maybe they just fucking forgot about lasers for God knows how long, or maybe Jack was like, I'm getting rid of the lasers with all the fucking claptraps. Let's just say that. Anyways, Gearbox could easily write themselves into being able to do this DLC, The Fall of New Haven. Watching Handsome Jack completely lose his shit and completely become that maniacal bastard. Watch him wring the life out of a goddamn puppy, Nisha does. Watch them beat the crap out of Tannis. Don't get mad at me about this. This is Anthony Birch that wrote this shit. This is just the dark happenings in between Borderlands 1 and 2, and I feel like we need to see the final metamorphosis of Nisha into an asshole, Wilhelm into the monster he becomes, Handsome Jack into the tyrant he becomes by exacting his revenge from his point of view on the motherfuckers who betrayed him on Elpis, because that is the point of view that we're using in this game. So I feel like, would be very pleased with that storyline. Gearbox, I know you're probably already done with the story DLC, but I do believe in you, and I do believe that you could bring us this bookend to this story, because there is one chapter in between the games that we have not played yet, and it would be terrific, and it would have a great raid boss in the original Vault Hunters. Can you imagine fighting the original 4 Vault Hunters in fucking New Haven? And you're probably like, you know, you can't fucking, like, how could the whole DLC be in a small town? That wouldn't even be fun. There's plenty of areas surrounding New Haven. There's plenty of areas that you can fight in. It would take us elsewhere. We would have to hunt down so-and-so. You gotta find Tannis. You gotta find Brick and Mordecai, and fucking, you gotta fuck them up. And these are the things that would work. It could also take us back to locales from Borderlands 2. And that would be another nostalgia pocket for us. Just, it could work, guys. And I want to hear how you feel about a possible fall of New Haven. Is this something you want? Is this something that could work? Is this a story you want to experience? It is for me. This is my opinion, and I'm sharing it with you, and now I want yours. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys back inside of Borderlands, the pre-sequel.